The 1982 Oscar winner An Officer and a Gentleman is getting a modern remake, and there are already exciting updates about the new reimagining. The original 80s classic starred Richard Gere as an aspiring naval aviation officer candidate who begins a romance with a local woman while struggling against his hard-nosed drill sergeant who wants to break him down. Generally considered one of the 80s best, An Officer and a Gentleman also broke barriers when Louis Gossett Jr. became the first black man to win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Besides the movie's abundant award success, An Officer and a Gentleman was also a tremendous financial hit and grossed an impressive $129 million at the box office, via Box Office Mojo. With so many of the most popular movies from the 80s being put on a pedestal by modern media's obsession with nostalgia, Hollywood has begun a wave of legacy sequels and remakes. With that in mind, An Officer and a Gentleman might not have been the first movie on fans' minds to receive a modern reimagining, but the 1982 hit is nevertheless returning in a new take. As Hollywood rushes to scoop up every hot commodity from the 1980s to remake or reboot, Paramount has announced a remake of An Officer and a Gentleman over 40 years after the original's hit debut. The studio that found great success with the 2022 legacy sequel Top Gun: Maverick has tapped one of the movie's biggest stars to lead the new remake. Miles Teller, who turned heads as Bradley "Rooster" Bradshaw in the Tom Cruise vehicle, will assume the starring role that was originally held by Richard Gere in An Officer and a Gentleman. No other names have been added to the cast, but behind the scenes, Paramount has hired Dana Fox to pen the latest draft of the script. Fox recently wrote the live-action Disney film Cruella and the romantic action film The Lost City starring Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. Sticking mostly in the romantic comedy sphere, Fox's career as a writer stretches back to 2005 with the Deborah Messing-led The Wedding Date. This specialization could make Fox the perfect candidate to preserve the powerful romantic beats from the original version of An Officer and a Gentleman. The An Officer and a Gentleman remake cast. Miles Teller leads the remake's cast. Little is known about Paramount's modern remake of An Officer and a Gentleman, but its cast list does feature a big star in the lead role. Miles Teller has quietly been amassing a star-making career over the previous decade, and he has been tapped to lead the 80s remake. It's not certain if he will be playing the character of Zach Mayo, originally played by Richard Gere, or if the remake will dream up a new character entirely. No other cast members are known, and without story details, it's difficult to guess if any other original characters will be recreated for the remake. The An Officer and a Gentleman remake story details. A straightforward remake is expected. Richard Gere embraces Deborah Winger in An Officer and a Gentleman. Though it isn't confirmed yet, the remake of An Officer and a Gentleman isn't expected to make too many major changes to the original story. With such a character-driven story, the film will be put in a tricky spot to avoid being another unnecessary remake, and it will need to add some new wrinkles to differentiate itself from the 1982 film. With that said, a modernized version will be inherently different, and a lot has changed within society, and the military specifically, in the 4 decades since the Gere version debuted. The basic framework will likely see Teller playing an aspiring naval aviation officer who falls in love while trying to work his way through the demanding officer school. In the original movie, Louis Gossett Jr.'s hard-nosed Sergeant Emile Foley was essentially the antagonist as he tried his best to grind Gere's Zach Mayo down, but the remake might want to avoid recreating that dynamic again. The love story will certainly be preserved, but Teller's new character will need some other conflict to make the remake of An Officer and a Gentleman interesting.